What's next?
So Nightcrawlers to Prisoners, which was pretty dark.
Prisoner is one of the darkest movies that you'll see, but we're also back again to Denis Villeneuve. So, and this was a big hit, actually. This was
Denis Villeneuve.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
The Prisoners 2013 starts with the Lord's Prayer, and the dad is teaching the son how to hunt.
So you got Wolverine, who is a a prepper, right? Who Hugh Jackman, he's a prepper, and he's a evangelical of some kind.
This one's good because you think he's crazy, but it turns out he's not. Right.
Yeah, there's another a good deflection going on here because Villanueva makes you think that you're going to...
Dad, this is literally the best.
You're going to just hate the Hugh Jackman character. And I remember when I first watched it in the theater when it came out, I'm like, here we go. They're going to make the Christian be this, horrible villain. And he kind of a little bit is. But what's interesting is that every character in this movie in ways has flaws. There's no really good. I mean, they're all good, but they're flawed good. Mm-hmm. Whether it's Gyllenhaal or whether it's Hugh Jackman, right? And so I think the best part of this movie is, first of all, how real it is. There's nothing in this movie that is in any way not seemingly real. Like, this could definitely be the way that a child KIDNAPPING ring would happen and has happened.
This one's scary because the reasoning behind what they're doing is so evil and chaotic.
Well, it's real. Again, this is what committed actual Satanists to take their belief seriously. Like, they actually do believe that doing evil actions, or the more horrendous evil actions, are a war on God and helps to make people no longer theists. Do you remember?
Yeah. So, Hugh Jackman's family and what's that guy's name that is talking about physics now? The black dad in this movie.
Oh, Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
Right. So, genius, mystical black science man. Right.
He's going off.
Black theosophy man.
What is
Terrence Howard is the other father contra Hugh Jackman in the film.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the... I mean, when Hugh Jackman loses the kid, he loses it. I mean, and Terrence Howard just kind of like catatonic for most of the movie.
So two perfect families, one black and one white, each lose a girl to a creeper van in the neighborhood.
Right. And Paul Dano is in the van, of course, and is parked in front of the house we later find out where Paul Dano was kidnapped from.
And the creeper's name is Alex Jones.
This was odd. I remember at the time when the movie came out, Alex talked about this. And Alex was like, folks, it's not an accident that they put the pedophile creeper with my name, folks. They did it on purpose. We all know it. Come on. Right?
Yeah.
Which could be the case. I'm not sure who wrote the screenplay. But anyway. Yeah,
so,
there's, again, just like with Enemy, there's great misdirection in this movie, which makes you think that, first you think, if you never watched it, then maybe don't listen to this, because it is a very wild, intense, crazy psychological thriller with a little bit of the satanic going on and some MK Ultra mind control for sure. But you think that, okay, maybe it's Hugh Jackman, that's the dad, that's actually behind this. And then you start to think, no, it actually has to be Paul Dano because of the things that he's whispering and saying. Right. Mm-hmm. Then you start to think, well, maybe actually Jake Gyllenhaal's involved in this because he's this weird, detective,
hard-boiled.
And he's got a tick that he has.
Do it.
It's both eyes. He goes.
Yeah.
It's just a double tick that he does. He's also got a Masonic ring that he wears, which is odd. Mm-hmm. He's got tattoos like he was in the military, or might have been part of like a mercenary squad
or something.
Well, it looks like military, like Black Ops type of squad or something.
Yeah.
He mentions too, when they talk about the priest, which I'd never noticed in the previous viewings, when he goes to investigate the priest, he had just mentioned that he was working down his sex offender list. So he goes to a Roman Catholic priest who's on the sex offender list, and Jake's, rummaging around. He snuck into his house, and the priest is passed out drunk, and then he finds a body in the basement.
Of course.
And now you think the priest is behind it,
There's
right?
a dead body in the priest's
And
basement.
so it's like,
a surprise.
and there's brilliant misdirections from every direction, which is, again, what makes this movie really, really good.
Yeah.
And, but it's very dark. I have to warn you. Like, there's not really... I guess
it's gritty.
It is gritty. I mean, when they're beating up Paul Dano, when they have him hidden in the abandoned apartment, that's pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's not really violent. It's just very intense. Very dark movie. But
there's also a third creeper creeping through the house.
Yes, and so we get this other guy who shows up, and we're starting to think, oh, this is some kind of ring that's going on. Mm-hmm. And if you've seen it, then you know the symbolism is obvious for the maze.
Yeah, there's labyrinth, pendant, and then labyrinth at the house.
What's interesting, though, about the couple who ends up being behind all this is that we know they're committed Satanists, but we don't ever have it stated that they're Satanists.
Right.
But they're using all the techniques of, like, Luciferian satanic mind control. So they're kidnapping children because they believe that this is waging a war on God. I mean, that's like the most satanic thing you could do. But they never mention that they're Satanists or that it's a satanic thing.
Right. And it turns out Paul Dano was the first victim they ever took and raised him, and he was like slow boy now.
Well, that's because they have perfected a technique of brainwashing.
Oh, and drugs. So they mentioned
they
the
use
LSD
and ketamine in a big thing of grape Kool-Aid. And they make you drink the jug.
Hippie Hooch.
And then they throw you in a tunnel maze, which traumatizes you.
And they made Wolverine drink the Hippie Hooch.
Right. Wolverine has to drink the Hooch and trip out. And that's kind of his prison time.
Yeah.
But basically, everybody is some kind of prisoner. The Satanists are prisoners to their hate. And they end up meeting a bad end. Mm-hmm. We find out, of course, that the guy in the priest's basement was the evil granny's former husband, who had confessed to the priest that he was the satanic ringleader who was kidnapping and killing them. And he has a labyrinth necklace that he wears. That becomes something that Jake Gyllenhaal regrets seeing because he should have noticed it earlier. It's kind of like how are you not paying attention to the symbols on the body that you found? It's kind of weird. Like you find this guy who's
you don't
written
see labyrinths every day.
He's written a labyrinth all over this abandoned house, and you think he's the killer, and then you don't remember the guy who was in the basement with a labyrinth necklace. I mean, you would think he would make these connections, but we find out that there was a book at the apartment that he was reading, one of the suspected criminals, and it was about an FBI guy who had written a book about the invisible killer. And the invisible killer was, in fact, who Jake Gyllenhaal was about to uncover, the guy in the basement whose wife is now running the ring, the crazy granny. So, long story short, clearly there's a satanic element because the grandma is not just using drugs. She's using ketamine and LSD to brainwash the children by throwing them in the tunnel maze. I mean, in ways, this is kind of like darker than True Detective even, right? Mm-hmm. But she's also utilizing this maze imagery because she tells the children that if you solve the maze, you can get out. And ultimately, they never get out because you never solve the maze. So you're a prisoner inside the maze. The maze is a satanic mind control prison for the satanic grandma. But for the other characters, they're also prisoners as well. Jake Gyllenhaal seems to be a prisoner of his work or his own ego or something like that because he's never lost a case. He's solved every case. There's never been a case he hasn't solved. But he's about to not solve this one, right? Mm-hmm. Hugh Jackman is a prisoner of his fear in his relationship to his father because it's revealed that his father was a prison guard who who unalived himself. And so that, I think we're supposed to think, led him to become this extreme fundamentalist prepper who has this anger and fear about the world. And that's what motivates him to kidnap Paul Dano and to beat him and to try to utilized, Bush era TORTURE measures, right?
Turr.
It made me think of Bush. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, this is post Bush era, but it made me think of that. But as a committed evangelical, if he followed Bush, right, it makes sense that he would have, right? Like he probably would have thought that these are justifiable measures if I think Paul Dano's the one that did it, right? So in a way you could say, and the mom is interesting too because she's completely ineffectual. She just lays there taking pills.
Yeah.
And she just lays in the bed and nothing, she does nothing. And just complains about how everyone else is not finding the daughter when she doesn't do anything. The brother is a minor character, but is also a prisoner of his fear, I guess you could say, on the fear and love line.
He's a prisoner of circumstance.
Remember the fear and love line in Donnie
Yeah.
Darko? Right. But basically, the characters are in their own prisons, so to speak, which just like in Enemy, Gyllenhaal is a prisoner in his mind. But this is a very dark, but also very revelatory film with, again, the trafficking and the satanic cult stuff in the background.
Yeah, and the lady at the end is explaining why she does it and doesn't even look like it's for money, but she says making children disappear is the war we wage with God. It makes people lose their faith and turns them into demons.
Mm-hmm. So they see it as a spiritual battle, basically. And they believe that, she says, because we used to be evangelicals who handed out tracts and flyers.
Yeah.
And she said, when we lost our son to cancer, we realized that God is a thing that has to be warred against because there is no God and, we're going to destroy faith in God, basically. And so they do that by disappearing children.
And making hippie hooch.
And using insane hippie hooch.
Wine ants are bad. Hippie hooch.
How about satanic grandmas handing out ketamine Kool-Aid?
No.
To you. That's the worst. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, very dark movie, but also excellent film. And
Gyllenhaal did good with his squints, and he got shot in the head, and he still saved the day. So
yes. So
just like
maybe Gyllenhaal's a prisoner of his Masonic belief system that he needed to get out of. I'm just speculating. But that seems like too based of a message for a Hollywood movie. I don't know.